Hey there, welcome to Social Media Manager. This is Module 1, the introduction. You know what? It literally takes only a computer with internet connection and a business card to think of starting up a career online. But more than that, you need knowledge, information, and experience. Now let us take a look at the newest job vacancy, that is of a social media manager. The social media is a rising platform for users to voice out opinions and share their thoughts and ideas with other people. With the advent of social networking sites such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Google+, the world has seemingly shrunk to much smaller size. Hence, there lies an impending need for most people to manage their social networking site accounts. For any organization or firm, the quickest way to reach the target audience is through social networking sites. They can easily attract potential clients from there. And it's also one of the most popular means of communication amongst the youth and a age group of 40 to 50. It also serves a good outlet for advertising. In August 2010, the largest and most commonly used social networking site, Facebook, reached the coveted number of more than 500 million users. That's right, 500 million users. This meant that Facebook was used and liked by close to half of the population that had been using the internet. Post-2010, almost a quarter of the page views across the internet were for Facebook, followed by the most popular search engine, you guessed it, Google. What does this mean to us? These statistics have much to say about the trends which are currently building up within the social media arena. Social media marketing has become a norm amongst this generation. It will surely rise continuously and become one of the most effective ways of translating the success or failure of any product. For this particular reason, it has become very important to monitor the activities which take place over the social media website of any product. This can also be cited as one of the prime reasons for the sudden boom in the need of social media managers by most companies. Capgemini, one of the most successful French software service providers, are hiring close to 1,000 social media managers. This includes a set of younger workforce which specializes in relating and analyzing trends in the social media sections. There's a flurry of advertisements which are displayed over most of the social networking websites, resulting in a good number of potential clients pouring in to purchase the products or simply to browse through offers which the company presents to the clientele. With the rising number of hours spent by any internet user to browse through the pages of these blogs, sites, or microblogging sites, advertisers have begun to recognize and acknowledge the importance of these websites to increase the product's local and worldwide demand. Reports have shown that during the coming decade, most individuals owning any business would be spending a quantifiable amount of time in gaining knowledge about the various means of expanding their product lines via social media marketing. With an understanding of the importance of internet advertising through social networking sites, a new role came into picture: the importance and functionality of a social media manager. A social media manager is in sync with the current trends in the market and products, as opposed to most of market leaders who have not grown and thrived in the age of Facebook and Twitter. Businesses need experts from amongst the social media users who are abreast with the current trends and can guide the management in making use of various fruitful tactics, owing to their regular and continuous interaction. These managers should have a good understanding of choices of other users, which they can help predict the success of any product which is launched in this space. Apart from understanding the business and clientele, any manager who is responsible for managing the social networking for business should also be extremely clear in terms of the product which needs to be marketed in any media campaign. This is the reason why the demand of social media managers is increasing in job classified ads as platforms of leverage for advertising businesses. In summary, those who cease to venture into the online platform will be downright left in the dust. Social media sites serve as one of the most efficient means of understanding the market dynamics and the products which could be a choice to the target audience for any advertiser. The advertising has become one of the most challenging and critical spaces for any product. It's not only a way to advertise a product, but also to win a considerable number of customers simply by utilizing innovative methods of tapping the market. Now you might be wondering, what kind of customers should you be targeting? Well, the answer is most of the companies which have a big customer base would always want to target this section of audience which is very active over the internet. These companies resort to using ways which are not so conventional and are able to attract the vast potential client base. The kind of businesses which would indulge in online advertising would be big firms, because they have a large number of target audiences to focus upon and generally outsource all their online marketing activities. The offline companies usually have a large customer base, so they also would be a good choice. They are the ones which would always require considerable amount of sales and marketing over the most common media of communication, the internet. There could be multiple ways in which leads can be generated for selling them off to the offline businesses. Most of these firms do not have a clear picture when it comes to targeting the audience over the internet, and this provides a leeway to a social media manager who can offer a pristine view of the most appropriate audience which could be tapped for potential usage by the advertisers. As an independent social media manager and consultant, your main target customers should be offline companies and some big companies that are too busy to do everything themselves. Such companies prefer to pay someone else with the required knowledge and free time to do everything on their behalf. More often than not, it's advisable to target offline businesses, because most of the other internet marketers would have various other ways of tapping the market. It is not good to target another internet marketer, since the methods used by such internet marketers are more towards a guerrilla methodology and they can do everything on their own. Offline companies usually lack the required knowledge for setting up a base. In that case, you would be their only solution and they would be solely dependent on you. Another factor which needs to be kept in mind is the lucrative amount of money associated with social media consulting. Companies, after being cognizant of the implications of using social media as a way to market their products, are ready to shell out close to $5,000 to $8,000 a month for managers who would be responsible for managing the social media space for their products. Hence, considering the usability of social media networking sites, there could be multiple ways in which the product could be marketed, which further boosts the role of a social media manager to be an excellent career option. This is Module 2, Overview of a Social Media Manager. So how would companies benefit from hiring a social media manager? A social media manager is able to aid in increasing the customer base and demand, in addition to helping to predict longevity of the product and its prospective market. He or she is also able to analyze and understand the market trends. Furthermore, notice the kind of sites frequently visited by users. Engaging in advertising over social media networking also aids in improving the business profile of the advertiser. Social marketing can not only increase the number of clients, but also goes to a great extent in increasing the visibility of the brand. Apart from gathering followers, a social media manager is also able to discover leads, which could generate business for the brand. The prime reason why a social media manager is hired would be to penetrate the untapped market which exists in the virtual world of the internet. This population is most essential since it gives an overview about the kind of people who exist across the globe and could be potential clients. Various social networking sites such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, and Twitter include a plethora of users who use these sites for both professional and personal networks. Let us now look at the criteria to becoming a social media manager. If you are wondering what it takes to become a social media manager, you must be prepared to have an open mind and willingness to learn. In truth, with dedication and hard work, the task to become an expert at this area is relatively simple. This will be discussed in further detail later on in the next module, and summarized into 3 main services. Here's an overview of what a social media manager must do. The activities of a social media manager would consist of developing and implementing a strategy which revolves around monitoring the activities of the business over these networking sites, apart from running various campaigns which fit the product needs. Such campaigns are necessary for creating a platform to increase the customer size. The role also involves regularly interacting with the potential base of clients and a daily set of activities which are outlined for maintaining the clientele. He or she is also responsible for posting services, products, and businesses which would be shared with the audience, and also raising the number of potential users on a regular basis. The manager would be in charge of posting blogs and snippets about the products and services offered. There are various sites which could be used for advertising the products, such as YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google+. Apart from understanding the end users, it is also essential for the social media manager to be familiar with various types of businesses. This assists in applying various tactics in advertising which fall in line with the type of business. Knowledge about the technicalities in the line of business is also a secret to success. Most of the social media managers, despite their expertise in product knowledge, are not able to deliver the best because of their inexperience in the field of technical knowledge in running social networking campaigns. The social media business is open for experts who have an in-depth understanding of not only the nuances of Internet and its uses, but also the details of the firm and products which are to be marketed by the company. Apart from that, it is important to know about all the forums on which the services can be advertised, as this boosts the customer base through the diverse factions of people who could be potential clients for the product. He or she is responsible in initiating conversation amongst customers to retain customer loyalty. It is also essential for the manager to have an in-depth understanding of the vision, online presence, practices, and pricing policies adopted by the company. A social media manager must be apt in analyzing the kind of users who can be differentiated on the basis of the usage of sites and the age group. This can be considered as one of the prime ways of identifying the most appropriate audience for the products and services. This is Module 3, the three main services of a social media manager. Social media managers are responsible for giving the social networking side of any product a facelift, which eventually raises the viability of the product along with its demand in the market. Almost half of the world's internet using population has access to the popular social networking sites, and this crowd forms the core group of customers who are the target audience for most of the firms. Here are the three main services a social media manager provides. The first being setting up of the company's presence on as many major social media sites as possible, followed by getting new customers or business, and lastly, advertising the latest promotions, products, and offers of the company. As the name suggests, the primary role of these professionals is to be responsible for creating a space for the service or the product which has to be marketed. Since this is a virtual space to be dealt with, it is imperative for the managers to clearly differentiate between various kinds of people who access the social networking site and those who do not. This is a continuous process of identifying the customer base and regularly increasing it. In order to set up the business, it is important to know about the business which is to be advertised. The branding strategy actually depends upon the vision and mission of the firm, which would offer the basic guidelines to be followed while advertising the product. Initiate a discussion between various people who visit the website. This would be the first step towards gaining a loyal base of potential clients. After setting the goals for marketing the services, the other important job is to build a strong customer base for the business. Considering the number of social networking sites visited by the users, a large number of sites would make branding much more efficient and productive. For a social media manager to provide these services, sheer knowledge of Internet does not suffice. It is essential for him or her to be abreast with the current trends in the market and the right audience to target. since any shortcomings in targeting the appropriate audience can be detrimental and counterproductive for the product itself. After identifying appropriate audience which have demand for their services, the next step would involve the manager sharing various offers which could be provided to users and the potential clients. With the growing need of internet as a mode of communication and also means of diminishing borders, the entire world is open to a marketer for sharing offers and promotions. A need for a social media manager has grown in demand over the last few years when the social networking sites have come in foray. Phase 1 is the social media setup. In this phase, we will take a deeper look at the first and foremost phase of the whole process. In this phase, you can offer to do the following tasks. That is, set up a Facebook page along with the information write-up. Set up a Twitter account along with profile info and custom graphics. Set up a LinkedIn profile. And lastly, set up a profile in other major social media sites like Google+. You have the option to charge higher if more social media sites are to be covered. The primary task for any social media manager is to identify the most appropriate media through which the product would gain a considerable amount of publicity and positive response. Various popular websites where the adverts can be posted could fall amongst Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, and microblogging sites such as Twitter. Various blogs could also be a good way of making the product popular. This is a way of not only building up a consumer base amongst the virtual world, but also a method of spreading awareness of the product. There are various activities which can be done to make the internet a productive platform for marketing products. Facebook offers various applications which assisting in promoting any idea, product or service, etc. Most of the social media advertisers use this tool in making the service gain a considerable amount of visibility amongst its users and prospective consumers. As a social media manager, you can create a page that carries detailed information regarding the services and the products. This would lead towards attracting a considerable amount of people who would be following the updates and information over this fan page. Apart from Facebook, which is home to almost a quarter of the entire population which runs over the internet, Twitter, the microblogging site, is extremely quick when it comes to the turnaround time in getting back with the number of hits and people who follow a service or product shared over the page. Setting up an account on Twitter quickens the process of making the product more and more popular amongst a large audience. Most of these sites are for personal and individual usage. LinkedIn adds a different touch to the entire population. It's a social networking site which focuses on the building up of a professional network amongst a growing number of professionals. They might range from those who have similar skills to those who might be interested in knowing various other trades and interested in building their networks. These three sites, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, are the three giants of the social networking arena. Apart from this, even Google has come up with a website which runs on similar lines with Facebook, known as Google+. There is a new set of people who are attracted towards this website, and it comes around as one of the most reliable sites because it belongs to the most coveted search engine, Google. Google+ runs as a competitor to Facebook and contains almost the same users which have been using the latter. Using different social media sites is a good way of advertising the product to increase the popularity of the product across a wider audience, disregarding diverse cultural and geographical backgrounds. Apart from that, healthy dialogues and discussions can be undertaken between the moderators of the site. This involves the social networking manager and the individuals who have an interest in the offers of the firm whose site and details have been shared over the networking sites. After the Industrial Revolution, which set the world towards a high, the next revolution was witnessed with the invention of the World Wide Web, commonly known as the Internet. Since the world was taken in the grip of the Internet, every advertisement, ranging from a common one to a niche product, ventures to meet its future clientele via the Internet before it hits the stores. Therefore, it has become essential for most of the top-notch brands to communicate their services and product to an audience which belongs to different generations but socialize on the same platform. Many offline companies have such large setups that it gets difficult to focus on another section of prospective clients which exists in the virtual world. Most of these virtual clients might not turn out to be the perfect audience. This is where the social media manager contributes, being aware of the usage of social networking sites via internet. Apart from making effective use of the internet, it is important to understand the product which is being marketed. This is phase 2, adding fans, followers, and leads. If you take a closer look, phase 1 is usually a one-time thing which leads to a one-time payment. Believe it or not, the second phase can help you get recurring business from the same clients in order to be paid over and over again from the same customers who want your service. All you need to do is to offer to advertise their social media site, that is Facebook profile and Twitter profile, to help them get more followers. In this phase, we'll look at ways to get followers, fans, or leads on your client's behalf. As a process of building a social networking media setup for sharing the details about any product, it becomes important to make this information available over various networking sites. Making the audience aware of the existence of one such product becomes the first step in any strategy focusing on social networking sites, as it is a means to reach out to and thereby build an audience. Here are some ways to increase followers. Providing exclusive content, promoting various social media assets, participating in several interactive sessions, building value, displaying consistency, offering something for every sign-up, running a contest that comes with free gifts, using entertaining videos, paying for targeted traffic if all of the above is unable to attract clients. But trust me, that will rarely happen. Most of the companies for A-grade brands are so huge in structure that they do not focus on the internet as one of the most affluent and effective ways of advertising. With the advent of the revolutionary Facebook in the field of social networking, internet marketing has taken a different route altogether. Therefore, any brand which aims to make it big and increase its market size needs understanding about its competitors by analyzing the wide variety of internet users, who could be a potential source of understanding the pulse of a prospective audience. After setting up a base, which helps in the interactions between the manufacturers and the end customers through these websites, the manager would be required to introduce the process of reinstating the importance of these services and products. This is not only for the benefit of the firm, which would always want its customers to be cognizant of its products, but also important for the manager. This is because, as a social media manager, you are paid only once after the site has been installed. If you want recurring payments and to continue your services with the firm, it is important for the site to be active so that potential offers and services are continuously shared with the audience and remain visible for a longer span of time. This phase is important as it is the key toward retaining clients who have been won earlier and would allow a chance to act upon the suggestions and feedback which have been shared by users. This can be undertaken by sharing the product details over a social networking site such as Facebook. By doing so, can increase the visibility of the product and increase the responses which would be elicited and thereby also judge the rate of success of the product. After the product has been regularly advertised over the social media, more fans would join the site. This would be a productive move for the product as it would eventually reflect in the number of sales which have been made in selling the product. The success rate of every product differs with the strategies and the tactics which have been used by marketing managers. These strategies would be a scale at which the performance of the manager can be gauged. For most of the successful ones, the firms would look forward to working with them again. Hence, this would require the social media manager to be equipped with various other strategies which can be used in making the product more successful. Keeping these factors in mind, social media advertisers must not only keep in mind the choice of marketing tools, but also the prices which are to be charged for offering his or her services to the client. Hence, come up with competitive prices that fully represent your skills. It is imperative for the manager to focus his or her efforts toward continuously increasing the number of clients and generating sufficient leads so that the product sales continue to grow. There are multiple ways in which followers and fans could be increased over a period of time through persistent efforts of the social media manager. Since most of the fan base and the clientele would be well aware of the trends in the domestic and international market in relation to the product, it is essential to make the most appropriate projections while placing the product in the market. Apart from that, the innovative way in which the offers and various services for the product are displayed across the website is also an important factor. For most of the products which are marketed online, it becomes important to use creative methods for eliciting responses from the customers.
This is phase 3, managing social media updates or customer service. This is another recurring income stream to keep the same clients paying you, like phase 2. In fact, you can offer a monthly package to your clients which can enable you to earn $997 and above for these constant tasks. Once the base is set for promoting a product or service online, the next step is to nurture the efforts required to maintain the site. This involves not only communicating with prospective clients, but also informing them about the latest offers. In the first step, you build a base as per the marketing strategy, aiming at the targeting audience which would be available across various websites on the internet such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, and Twitter. Once the appropriate audience has been decided, loyalty is built between the customer and the manager. Most of the future clients are tapped during the first step itself. However, extreme care should be taken while targeting the audience. Making an inappropriate choice when it comes to the clients could be extremely harmful for the future of the product. Take a look at the Twitter profiles of brands like Starbucks and AirAsia. What do you observe? There's always someone replying to Twitter messages tweeted by customers. This is because these companies have assigned employees to interact with customers on a constant basis to bridge and maintain relationships. You can offer to do exactly the same thing for your clients. You can manage and automate tweets or updates on social media sites on your client's behalf. Use Hootsuite.com, so that is HOOTSUITE.com, a free service that allows you to automate status updates and tweets for free. You can offer to do real-time customer service on your client's behalf. They should pay you more for learning about their product, especially if it's a really specialized niche or area. Aside from developing the base of customers who would like to understand the nuances of the products and eventually go ahead to use the services offered, it is of utter importance to continuously build a base of customers through various channels and modes, which would strengthen the brand image and maintain long-term customer loyalty. In this phase, the responsibility of the manager is manifold, since it not only requires him to continuously identify new markets which would be successful for the growth of the product, but also to generate leads which result in business development. Maintaining a good base of customers is extremely important, as it requires a huge amount of hard work for creatively promoting the products. Apart from having mere knowledge of browsing through the media, it is more important to understand the diversity in the types of people who browse through these social networking sites. Since there is a plethora of people from across the globe who could be the future clients of the services offered by the firm's product and services. Aside from that, the third step, which follows after continuously endeavoring to maintain and gradually generate the leads, is to offer the most efficient customer service to the clientele. This can be undertaken by reducing the turnaround time of solving the queries that are raised by the customers. Once the offers and deals are shared over microblogging sites such as Twitter, the queries are to be answered in a live format. The time of replying the queries and suggestions should be minimized. Certain employees are employed by most large firms which religiously address all the issues and queries raised by the visitors. Once the accounts have been created over these websites, most of the queries which come up are in real-time mode and are required to be answered within the shortest span of time. This not only increases the credibility of the brand, but also increases the popularity of the product simply by word of mouth. There are various important reasons for a social media manager to continue building his network, which would assist in making the marketing strategies much more effective and efficient. This leads to building a stream of continuous funds for the services which are offered by the manager. Similar methodologies can be used in using spaces over the sites, which can be used free of cost. On behalf of the client, these postings can be made across the sites, which would assist in making it much more convenient for the users to have their queries answered. This could as well be one of the differentiating factors among the success ratio of various consultants. One of the reasons why A-listed firms choose to employ a dedicated set of employees to deal with internet advertising is due to their expertise in understanding the current trends in the social networking arena, along with their skill in predicting the future and comprehending various stages that any product would undergo to succeed. Advertising a product in the newest way, which compromises of creative methodologies over the social networking sites, is of utmost importance and value.
This is Module 4, Pricing Your Social Media Service. Now that you have completely understood the three main phases involved in the process, let us take a look at the pricing model. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where you will understand how lucrative this job is for you. Apart from being a medium to connect to various people, social networking sites have now become hunting grounds for advertisers and marketing gurus. The new generation has a battalion of gadgets and modes which can be used to identify services and products of their choice. Not only that, even competitors existing in the market can be identified. As you know, your role as a social media manager is not only to identify potential customers, but also to build a profile to advertise the product while interacting with these potential clients. Such a person is mostly employed by either big companies or companies who run offline businesses. This role involves maintaining three crucial phases. The first phase requires the manager to identify the prospective sources where the product can be advertised and would garner the maximum response. The second phase requires continuously adding the amount of fans, followers, and leads. This would not only make the brand popular, but also increase awareness about the firm's offers. The last phase of building the brand over social networking sites requires communicating with the clientele. This could be on live mode or offline mode, where brand awareness is created and the suggestions along with queries of the customers are resolved. All these steps are extremely crucial and should be followed carefully since they affect the reputation of the brand. Considering the extensive breadth of these roles, it becomes essential to hire different individuals who might be able to do justice to each of these phases. Therefore, while the services are offered for each of these different roles, the pricing can also differ. Now let us see how you can set the pricing for your social media services for these three phases. Phase 1, the architectural stage. This is the most crucial stage, as the social media manager
needs to be competent in identifying the right market and target audience for the services and the products, keeping in mind the processes, mission, and values of the firm whose products are being marketed. Therefore, a fee of $997 can be charged. This can be for one single profile which would be designed over the social media networking websites. In case the client is looking out for multiple profiles to coexist over the networking sites, a higher fee can be charged. The first phase is primary in terms of setting a strong base for the company's products. The parameters for identifying the right market for the products could be demographics, product offers, age of the target audience, etc. Phase 2. For the next phase involving adding fans, leads, and followers, the fee can be much lesser, considering the fact that the process does not need to be repeated. The task can be done for a fee of close to $297 to $997 a month. The fee is differential because the workload and expectation from the client varies. For hiring a consultant who is solely responsible for undertaking all the phases, the fee would be as high as $5,000. Hiring a single expert who specializes in one area would be cheaper, rather than hiring one who completes all three phases of identifying, designing, and maintaining the social networking interface between the firm and the customers. Phase 3. The last phase is also crucial for the firm's reputation, because after developing the profile of the firm and engaging customers by adding them, it is mandatory for the social media manager to revert and address all the queries which are raised by the clientele. In order to maintain the reputation of the brand, it is important to answer all the queries which are raised by the customers. This is also one of the potential steps which could make or break the brand. The queries could be replied through Twitter. Most of the companies employ a team of members who are hired for the sole purpose of answering the queries raised by the customers. The fee charge can range from $497 to $997 a month as well. Working as a third party within the company can acquire a salary close to $997 to $2,997, which would also multiply in cases where many clients are considered. Considering that an individual consultant would charge $5,000 for one project, that is to complete all three phases, hiring an expert on a contractual basis can also be considered as an economic deal. Besides, it would be beneficial for the firm to lower the expenses which would be involved in hiring employees. These tips can be important considering that any hired expert would prefer a recurring business with his or her client. Hiring a social network manager can be considered to be a win-win situation for both the client and the manager. Therefore, pricing the social media service is very essential for an expert. Now, you have an understanding of how it could be a profitable opportunity to become a social media manager. If you focus on expanding your client list, all the above figures can be multiplied to create a monthly income.